All right. You have to bear with me and my attire. Um, but we are in module 2, which is week 2. And this is hugely on the power of the subconscious mind. And so I'm just going to share my screen and I'm going to let you know that this one here is very in depth. Okay. So, here we go. This is very in depth, and here we go. Present. Doesn't mean that it's not able to be taken on board. Just get your pen and pad out like normal. Close down all your web browsers, close down other apps. Just make sure you're fully aware, like fully take on the next 45 to 60 minutes. And obviously you're doing this in your own time as well. So yeah, another thing to make sure is that you've gone through last week, which was like your goals and your vision and your values, and it really just makes it really clear as we work through this. So yeah, any questions that you get stuck on, just pop them in the leaders chat and then I can help you. But yeah, today will be a lot of info, so gear up. Maybe press pause if you need a drink or your mind health, and we'll get into it. Okay. Okay, so the power of your subconscious. Now, nothing is off limits. We need to get the software, basically. We need to download the right software. And you will want to, yeah, sorry, I'll start again, okay? The reality is a construct of the mind. Sorry, it's just something's going on. The reality is the construct of the mind. And if we really break that down, reality is basically what we tell our mind. So what I am seeing can be something completely different to what you are seeing, and it's how we perceive things. And we're going to go so in depth to this today, but yeah, it's really that statement there, like honestly, like really does make it detailed about, how everyone can perceive things, and like the mind is so powerful. So yeah, nothing is off limits, and everything we are viewing is different for someone else. And it comes back to what is happening in our own minds, which is why it's so, 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 so precious to be feeding it with positive thoughts, being around the right people, and really going back to digging out some limiting beliefs that we might have to actually change the future. Because if we can change this, we can literally like change whatever else we see, our results and our future, our outcomes, and everything that flows on from that. So sorting the info in our brain. The brain is super, super, super complex, but I want to go into a couple different areas and then break those areas down. Okay, so we've got the thalamus, which is taking in information from the five senses. For example, you've got your sight, you've got your taste, you've got your touch, hearing, smelling. I think I've said them all. Anyway, let's just say like if you were at traffic lights and you heard a car coming and you heard the horn go off, your thalamus would say, okay, oncoming car, let's look where it's coming from and make sure we don't step out onto the road. Okay, so it's like our body is always it's taking in these things, or you might smell dinner cooking by the time you pull up in your driveway. It probably is like, okay, cool, there's a roast chicken in the dinner. Sorry, roast chicken in the oven for dinner cooking. Like we're picking up all these things without knowing, and we've already correlated it to mean something. Okay. And then we've got the hypothalamus. Now, this is taking in information from what's going on inside of us. So picking up, what's going on in the body. And for example, one thing that probably we could all have experienced is dehydration. Maybe we're feeling thirsty. Your body will send a lot of cortisol through your body. And this is going back to the flight or fight, where it feels like, okay, it's thirsty, maybe it's hungry, maybe it doesn't know when the next meal is going to come around. And it's going to like pump the cortisol through, which helps you like adrenaline basically coming through your body. And even though like you might have just not had a drink for an hour or drink glass of water for an hour, our bodies and our brains are still back in like thousands of years ago. And so that's how the hypothalamus will work. Now, I know this is like super geeky, but it does like, this all needs to be talked about to understand as we go on. So the human brain will process around 11 million bits per second. Obviously, we don't understand that all coming in, but we have like our brain, like our conscious brain, as in your conscious brain is like what we understand. Like right now, you're sitting in front of a laptop or front of your iPhone, you consciously know that you're doing that. And it can like process about 50 bits of this. Okay, so then what the brain will do with these bits of information is it's going to delete it. So it's going to delete, it's going to delete information it doesn't deem relevant or information necessary. Example, before I go through would be sitting in a cafe and it's super busy. There's about 50 people in there having 50 different conversations. And you can hear the kitchen going, you can hear music going, the waiter's coming up. You won't be focusing on it all. Your brain is picking up on everything. So your subconscious brain is picking up on everything. But your body is now deleting what it doesn't deem necessary. For example, the 50 other conversations, it's only going to focus in on the person you're talking to rather than like the kitchen and everything else. Okay. And then the next one it will do is distorts. And then this basically, an example of this is a sound in your house. Particularly sounds may trigger you more than others. For example, you might be in a room watching a scary movie, Home Alone, and you hear a sound on the door. One person might think there's a burglar trying to break in. That is me. The other person might have grown up on a farm and they might associate that with branches, like a tree outside the window and branches knocking on the door. Okay, so same sound, two different scenarios that people have made up. And so, yeah, it's distorting the information, just trying to figure out like what it is. And then the last one is generalize, like it generalizes something. So it takes information in, simplifies it and applies to something similar. Basically, this is so it doesn't need to relearn. We don't need to relearn this over and over again. And examples, driving a car, opening the door. This is a good time. This is good to have because then we know we can almost drive every single car or any car, any truck. We know basically to open the door and jump in. So it generalizes a situation. Okay. Info is processed through our filters. Excuse me. Info comes in and we are either made consciously aware of it or not. And the information is processed through filters. So you've got your language. This could be a slang word in some countries that's acceptable or not. And I was trying to think of an example of this, and I can't think of the top of my head, but like I know in New Zealand we have such big slang, same as Australian. And if you hear like these memes and all this stuff, like you have these like things that you hear and you're like, okay, yeah, that's such an Aussie slang, New Zealand slang, whereas I know other countries could take that. Maybe they could take it like offensive, or unacceptable, whereas some countries are acceptable. I think one word would be a thong. In New Zealand, it's like a G-string. In Australia, it is your jandal. So if you said a thong to someone in New Zealand, it would kind of be almost, I wouldn't say it's unacceptable, but it'd be quite rude to say thong because it's not a jandal for us, if that makes sense. The second one is your memory, and your brain will ask you, has this happened before? So we don't need to think of a new way to do things. Example, I'm going to apply this one to our business. Have you gone to do something before, failed, and now there is a memory of that failing? So your body sees it as unsafe and it doesn't want to do it again. So it decides to, like your body will decide to go back to its old habits so you don't get that feeling of failure again, which is essentially holding you back and keeping your body safe and at the same level of business. Sorry, got something in my throat. So if I just go deep into a business example, maybe you have run for another level and you haven't met it, or maybe you've run for a bonus and you haven't got it. Your body now just remembers that failing, and it's like almost like it's going to do everything without you actually realizing to not go for it, because it doesn't want to fail again. It doesn't want to have that feeling of failure. But you can change this. Like, you have to go again and again and again. And if I'm going to put it into my context of business, every single month that I've had a business for 3 years at the time of this recording, I've consistently set goals, and I may or may not have always achieved them. But the fact that I always set goals, it gives me something to work towards, and it doesn't matter about the outcome. It keeps my activity going. And it's through all these different conversations that I'm learning and growing. And, obviously I fail a lot. I have definitely had people who are just like, do not reply. Or I look back, I'm like, whoa, I totally bombarded that person. But I've learned, you learn different ways to grow. And these people might be a no that you're scared to talk to, but they might refer you to someone else. Okay. The next part of this one is previous decisions. So what do I always do? What do I always do in situations like this? If you react in situations the same way each time, your body knows it's safe. It doesn't need to relearn something. An example in business, again, I'm going to keep this business. If you're posting your glow up drink on your stories every single day, maybe your hand is out there, they can't see your face, you put your text up with a link, and you've got that's safe. No one's judging you for what you look like. You don't know what they're commenting. No one's reacting and saying anything rude about it. So it's safe. But if you start pushing the boundaries and you show up with a glow up drink every single day, but instead you are now going to be doing a live and make it and talk about it and everything to do with the glow up on a live video, your body is pushing now. It doesn't understand it's not a previous decision. So you are now pushing boundaries, which you are now getting out of your comfort zone. And this is where the growth happens. Okay. Yeah. And so say, for example, you're doing that live, an example where this previous decision knows that it's not coming in, your body will know that this isn't a previous decision, because you're like, oh my God, I need to do a live. And all of a sudden you get that gut, like that anxiety, or it's like the feeling of the unknown. Therefore, there's a high chance of you not doing it, because all those feelings of the inside of insecurity and, failure, whatever, is coming out. But really, like, that your growth is on the other side of those scary, anxious feelings. Okay, so the next one's your meta programs. Now, these are like what you call yourself, once again, whatever you're calling yourself that your body doesn't know it is or isn't it, you're calling it. So in your head, you think that. So am I an introvert or am I an extrovert? That's a good example. Do you label yourself one or the other? And if you are, and maybe let's say you get labeled an introvert, and then you get asked to speak on stage at our Gold Coast conference coming up, you might naturally shy away from this because you've always told yourself you're an introvert. You might get the anxiety in your tummy, and you just like have no desire to do it because you've always said you're an introvert. But what happens if you start saying yourself you're an extrovert? Like your brain doesn't know. So these are just like meta programs that are coming through, and they're attached to your beliefs, but they aren't necessarily true. And it's all about changing those beliefs. Okay, the second to last one on this page is your values. Excuse me. How does someone who relives this, how do they react? How do they relive this situation, and how do they react? Religion's a really good one. Do they have strong values about the situation? So, and that's because they have those strong values, they have those strong beliefs, that's how they react. And So they act the way they think they should, because they've never been exposed to anything differently, rather than following your intuition or your gut feeling. So a really good example of this, you've grown up in your parents' household, maybe they follow a certain religion, maybe they do a certain way of doing things. So that's naturally what you've picked up growing up. And so you naturally will make those decisions based on how you're growing up. Whereas as we grow up, we're exposed to so many different things. And this is where following your gut is so important. Because if your gut's saying, actually, no, like I want to go this way in life, or I want to make these decisions, like just know you can completely change. And you don't have to do it from like those past experience, those past upbringings and situations that you've been in. Now, experience is the last one on this page, and this is a stored memory in the subconscious mind. So yeah, kind of like any experience you've had, it's your body's going to like remember it and just store it back there. You might not remember them all. I'll do it. There's an example of this coming up as well. Okay. RAS. I've definitely heard of this a long time ago. I can't remember when I heard of this, but reticular activation system. It's a bundle of nerves at the brain stem that filter out unnecessary information so the important stuff will get through. An example of this is being in a restaurant, and there are many conversations, but you ignore them. Take that example I said before, there's 50 people in the room. You'll just ignore all the other conversations. But if someone on the other side of the room yelled out your name, you would hear it over any other conversation in the room because you deem your name important. So your mind picks it up. So your RAS takes on what you focus on and it creates a filter for it. And it then shifts through the data and presents only pieces that are important to you. And another example is you might be good at sleeping, and you could have, I don't know, someone in the lounge room might be watching TV and it's super loud. You'll sleep through it. There might be a loud car that drives past. You'll sleep through it. There might be super loud thunder and lightning at night. You'll sleep through it. You hear your baby roll over and maybe like make the tiniest peep. You'll be wide awake or something, like you'll hear your baby because your brain is still hearing all these things even though we're sleeping, but it's blocking it out because it's like, okay, that car, that's not important enough to wake you up, but my baby is important enough to wake me up. Another one, for example, is seeing a white Mercedes. If that is your goal, you might, with Arbonne, maybe you want to grab a Mercedes or whatever car you want, and now you're going to start to see it on the roads. Excuse me. Another example, I'm going to go through a few examples of these because this is so important. Another example could be a money mindset. So if you have a mindset that money is abundant, so I'll start with the bad. If you have been grown up with no money and money is hard to come by, or you've got limiting beliefs around earning more money, you'll probably be the person who will hear on the TV at nighttime that interest rates are going up, and you'll probably worry about that. You're the person who will drive past a petrol station, look at that and notice the prices going up. You're the person who will notice grocery prices going up. Okay. Because that's what you're drawn to, because that's what you've been brought up around. Cool. And the cool thing about this is that we can change it. So if we have a mindset around money, that money is abundant, money is energy, money is, flows to me, it's everywhere, like there's no limit on it, then like you wouldn't hear the interest rates going up on TV, and you would drive straight past a petrol station and not see it, or you won't notice the groceries going up, so it's like really is about what we are taking on and how we can really focus on like change what we believe in and like dig out these like limiting beliefs and these beliefs that we've grown up with, and all these beliefs are no one's fault. It's just who we've hung around, who we've grown up with, who we're currently hanging around, and how we can really change these beliefs and really just, create a better future for us all. So at the bottom of our screen, on the screen here, I just get a note section out on your phone, and excuse me, yawning again. this is late at night when I'm recording this. Start jotting down some common info that you see and that you hear and that what you say, and write it down, because what you are seeing and what you're hearing and what you're saying is different to everyone. Okay. And it's really this here is really interesting when you really start to focus in on that, is that like everything you're seeing, you're like, oh my gosh, okay, so I'm seeing this and in some way. It's kind of like with our business. If you don't believe in the products, or if you don't believe in the business and you're asking, let's use the business. If you don't believe in the business and you ask someone to take a look at it, they're probably going to say no, because it's come through with your energy. It's come through the way you speak. They'll feel that you don't sense that you truly believe in the business. Whereas if you ask someone to look at the business and you wholeheartedly know that this business can change their lives, they are going to get excited because they're going to feel it through you and your energy. Okay, so really start to like really dig into our beliefs. It's the subconscious mind. This is the concerning part of the mind that one is not fully aware of, but influences all of our actions and all of our feelings. Okay, so we've got our conscious mind, which is like what we're doing now. We consciously know we're watching a Zoom recording from Emily. Our subconscious mind takes on everything, but we don't necessarily know that we're doing it. Okay, so all of our past experiences are stored in a long-term memory, which controls 90 to 95% of your thoughts today. Your emotions, your identity, your personality, and your subconscious programming. And I want to explain this in a physical way for you to understand all of these memories. Okay, so I want you to imagine that you're going to walk in to a beautiful large room. It's furnished, it's got couches, it's got photo frames. It's like a beautiful lounge room with a TV, maybe there's some flowers in there, there's a coffee table. There are floorboards in there. Okay. Pretty basic room, no kids' toys everywhere. Like it's beautifully laid out. There are floorboards in this room. Okay. And underneath these floorboards are all of your past experiences sitting under there, like almost like you forgot them, but they're still there. They're just covered up. Okay. You can open this trap door to your past experiences whenever you want. And it's kind of like you want to pick up memories, sort through them. Maybe you remember something, you're like, oh yeah, I've remembered that, here it is. And then you put it back. Example, and then you want to be able to work through these memories that are in there. Like I'm going to use one of mine, for example. Like I think I've said this to some of you before, but when I was a teenager, I was really good at rowing and I was always making A finals, but I was always like, I might get third, maybe like in bigger boats, but I'd always get fourth, fifth, sixth, or seventh. Like I was never like on the podium, never winning. And I didn't actually know this was what was happening, but throughout life, I've always wanted to be like the best or on top. And I never feel good enough unless I've like the best of something. And I've never known why I'm like that. And I think it's because I had dug up that as a teenager, like I was so into sport. I would do all the training, I'd do everything anyone would tell me, but I'd never win. And so for me, I've carried that on through life, that, like I've never felt good enough because I was never winning. But in reality, that was just my belief. Like if you actually break it down and you look at your life and what's in it, you're like, well, actually, being at the top of the company doesn't make me any better than being a district manager. It's where you are in life and what you're happy with the surroundings, which is like what I say go through with module 1, is making sure you actually are so aligned with your vision and your values. And then any level of the company shouldn't matter, but it's just a title. So that was a huge thing that I had to take up from these floorboards. And, now I know that's a memory that was there for a reason, and it created some like these situations for the future, for how I've lived, but you can reprogram it, and so now that I've picked that up, I'm using myself as an example again, but now I know that, okay, like winning doesn't necessarily mean it's success for me. Success for me is like being a stay-at-home mom and like creating my days how I want around them. Success for me is having a loving husband and being able to see my family. Like those are huge in my life. So it's that room there. I want you to think about, like, on that previous section when I said on your notes, if you can figure out like those, what are coming up and what are you saying? I'm just going to go back to show you. So on this one here, it says start jotting down some common info that you see in your day. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you saying? Because what are you doing, seeing, hearing, saying isn't what everyone else is. And what you see are going to be coming down to these floorboards that I'm talking about, like underneath these floorboards, where have they come from? And next week we're going to go through a kind of like, I wouldn't say it's hypnosis, but it's like you're gonna have to have some quiet time to really close your eyes and really take you back. It's a really good example. It's a really good example's not the word. I want to say task. I'm having mind blank. It's not a task. It's like something to do to help you. Okay, so I want to talk about the last part of this. So, like with its function of the subconscious mind and its purpose is basically here to protect and preserve you. So it knows that what's happened in the past, it's worked, then it will do that on repeat. And it knows it's safe, it knows you can survive, and, but when we go for change, for example, promoting to another level of business again, it doesn't know what that looks like. So your mind will search for all the excuses to not do it. It will search for all the excuses to only do it when you're ready, or only do it when your team is here, or only do it when life settles down. Like that's your mind. That's your subconscious mind saying, don't go for that bigger goal, don't go for that bigger level, because you are safer doing everything you're doing right now in your everyday life, because you know you can survive everyday life, what you're doing now. Okay. And those limiting beliefs, we need to dig up from the floorboards and figure out why you don't want to push boundaries, because they're underneath the floorboards, like eating into your head every single time you go for a big goal. Okay. So it communicates to the nervous system, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system, mind and body. Example could be getting nervous or anxious or sweaty palms when we go after a big new goal. That's your body remembering a similar situation and how it reacted. So that's how it's going to react again, is like, yeah, it just remembers how your body actually went. And the sympathetic is your accelerator. Your parasympathetic is your brake. We can only have one going at a time. If you think about driving a car, you can't do both. Okay, so the sympathetic is your flight or fright. We either need to be doing a flight, fright, or freeze. All of your functions are now switched off because you don't know if you're going to face that tiger. Once again, going back to thousands of years ago, we don't know when our next meal is coming. We are like, our whole body is tensed up because we need to survive. Now, tigers in the year 2024 are more like money, bills, stressful situations, bad relationships. Those are tigers in our common days, our common era. Too much of this cortisol, this will spike cortisol in your body as well. So too much of cortisol is bad for your body, obviously. Now we want to be in the parasympathetic, which is the safe system, okay? Which is your brake. This looks like less stress, regular periods, like we just feel calm. We just feel like in a state of ease because our body is in a safe state. And the way we do this is, regulating the nervous system obviously the example for this would be the opposite, like no money issues, really good relationships, maybe get a massage or your nails done, going to the gym and keeping fit. Those are things that makes your body feel safe, feels looked after, it's not as stressed. Okay. Now, it's accessing the power of the subconscious mind. By the age of 30, 95% of our programming, like we are basically 95% of our programming from the past. This includes your experiences, your beliefs, and your behaviors. You're living on autopilot, thinking the same, feeling the same, and behaving the same. So your future is going to look the same. It's going to look exactly like your past, which is super predictable. It's kept you alive. So unless you start pushing those boundaries and working into those self-limiting beliefs, you're literally just going to be the same person. Now you have everything inside of you that you can function without having to consciously relearn everything each time. This means you will think the same, feel the same, and act in accordance with the past program. But yeah, the brain will always protect you from anything that you aren't in program to. Okay. This is the second part of this page, by the way. So the subconscious mind contains an intelligence with all of the answers and guidance you need once you know how to tune it in. So there are certain known principles. Matters expands when heated. 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen make water. Think good and good follows. The evil and evil follows. Sorry, think evil and evil follows. So I'm going to say it over again. I didn't read that very right. Think good and good follows. Think evil and evil follows. You are what you think all day long. Okay. And that guy there is he is from the late 80s to 1900s. And he was huge on personal development and has a really bestseller book as well. And best known for his motivational book of The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. So he is someone who was kind of like really first to tap into this area and actually really know like the beliefs, and then like it's obviously grown from there. But all of your experience, your events, your conditions and acts are produced by the subconscious mind in reaction to your thoughts. Now, and it is your belief about the thing, the situation that brings in the result. And we have seen this time and time and time and time and time again in our business, that if you fully wholeheartedly believe that you can be an area manager, be a region, be a nation, earn XYZ, be that confident self, like you will attract it, you'll bring it in, you will build that team. If you don't believe it, if there's something inside of you that doesn't believe that you can make this business work, if there's something inside of you that you don't believe that you can make it to the top of the company, or that you can make an income from this, or maybe if you don't believe that you can sell products at customer pricing, or you don't believe anyone will buy full price of you, like there's something inside of you that you need to dig out of that hatch from that room, because you can do whatever you want. It's your beliefs. Okay. Imagine your mind is like a rich soil that will grow whatever you have planted. Sorry. Desirable outcomes will not grow from limiting thoughts. You must control your thoughts at the conscious level. Change the filter so that what lands in the subconscious mind is aligned with the life that you want. And the conscious mind is the captain, and the subconscious mind is the worker in the engine room. Okay, so if we use that like as a boat as an example, the conscious mind is the captain and the subconscious mind is the workers in the engine room. They rely on orders from the captain to direct the ship, and they obey him because he is in charge. So what orders are you providing to your subconscious mind? What orders is the captain providing to his workers? If you think you can't afford something, you're giving the direction to your subconscious mind that it can't afford it, and it will obey the order, because causing an effect in your condition and experience. It does not question the order. If you are having limiting beliefs about, I can't afford whatever it is, your subconscious, so your captain is basically, you've just been the captain and told your subconscious that you can't afford something. So your subconscious is going to now look for everything possible to tell you that you can't afford it. By limiting your thoughts, you'll go through life experiencing lack of all these things. And you will think it's because of the circumstances that made it, but it's actually the circumstances by your own negative denying thoughts. And the subconscious mind does not have the reasoning, or doesn't have the ability to be logical about these things. Whatever information you provide it, it will accept it as a truth and make it as true by causing effect in your condition, sorry. So, communicating with the subconscious mind. How do we actually get into the subconscious mind and tell it what we want to hear it without getting in our own way? You need a clear end outcome. Excuse me. This is why meditations are really good. This is why getting up 15 minutes early before the kids is really good if they're in a good sleeping routine, which my kids are not at the moment. But when you can do this, this is why when you wake up in the morning to not check your phone straight away. This is why you want to block out anything on social media that you don't want to, that's affecting, like making you feel not worthy enough. If you can block out those things and focus on like your end goal and your results and where you want to be, and actually understand, like, say, for example, you want a beautiful home on the beach. What does it look like? Is it 2 stories? Is it 1 story? Does it have a full beach view? Is it like a road back from the beach? Is there 5 bedrooms? Is there 3 bedrooms? Actually no, because your body, you need to tell your subconscious, you need to tell your body, you need to tell your mind, and it will start looking for it. Working harder doesn't always create the results. Willpower won't do it either. Instead, you need to visualize the end and the state of freedom it produces. You'll find your intellect trying to get in the way, trying to find all the ways how. We naturally want to find the ways how to solve a problem. But we need to resist this. We just need to know that we have a goal, we're going to achieve it. We don't know how, but it's going to happen. Okay. Having clear intentions are going to be so good to be able to actually like bring your goals to life. And sleep meditations are really good. You can put them in you could probably just Google them, put them in your headphones, and like just have them as you're going to sleep, because it's actually like as you're dozing off, you're in like quite a sleepy state, and it will be talking directly to your subconscious. Excuse me. Hope you love my yawning. Homework. Okay. Hold on, wait. This is homework from last week. I'll read my notes. This is not the homework, guys. There's last week's homework. You guys have done that because you can see that you can be like, oh, this looks like last week's homework. Your homework. I'm going to read off my notes. Practice metacognition. What are you focusing on? So get your notes out that I said before. Get your notes. What info are you taking in? Write it down in your notes section. What are your thoughts? Write it down in your notes sections. What orders are you providing the ship? What are you looking at and telling your subconscious? Have you noticed that petrol price is going up, or now you're starting to not even care? What is the cause and effect? Okay, what is the threat? What is the threat that your brain is protecting you from? Establish the outcome and feelings. So, example for that, what is the threat that your brain is protecting you from? I'm going to talk about business. If you're trying to promote up a level and your threat might be, maybe you've tried it in the past and it hasn't worked, that's your threat. Your body sees it as a threat because it didn't work. You've deemed it as failure, and it didn't feel safe because of all the new things you're doing. But what happens if you really focused on, okay, if you make a promotion, you've got earnings.arbonne.com, but generally you got a bigger income. How will that income help you? Will that help you be debt free? Will it help you not be worried about bills? If you focus on that, your body's like actually going to crave it. It's going to want it. It's going to find all the reasons to hit that promotion rather than really, and like, it's going to help you really break those barriers rather than being scared about it. You know, yeah. Okay. So I'm going to probably stop recording here. I will post I'll post this up in the group chat, and I'll post this up, like the homework up in the group chat. And yeah, this was a lot. So like this could even be something you could go on again. But yeah, any questions, pop them in the group chat and I can answer them for you. Thank you so much.